A Patriot battery can intercept every target sent against it, 100%, and it can still lose. That is not a typo, and it is not a trick question. The PAC-3 MSE interceptor that a Patriot battery fires is a hit-to-kill missile, built to find a target with its own onboard radar guidance and destroy it through direct impact rather than a blast of fragments. It is precise, it is reliable, and it costs somewhere around $4.1 to $4.2 million a missile, every single time it leaves the launcher. The threat Patriot is increasingly asked to stop looks nothing like the threat it was originally designed for. A loitering munition, like the Shahed 136 design that has come to define this category of weapon, is not a ballistic missile or a fighter jet. It is a slow, small, one-way attack drone, built cheap and built in volume, that can cost as little as $20,000 to put in the air, maybe $50,000 on the high end. One side of this equation is precision, decades of engineering compressed into a single guided missile. The other side is volume, a weapon designed to be expendable from the moment it rolls off the line. Nobody who designed Patriot decades ago priced it against an enemy that could afford to lose 100 drones in one wave and still come out ahead financially. Welcome to Navy Decoded. Here is what the price tag behind that intercept actually does to the math of modern air defense. A perfect record of intercepts does not tell you who won the engagement. It only tells you who paid more to stay in it. Patriot is not a weak system. It is one of the most capable air defense platforms the U.S. Army fields, and understanding why matters before anything else in this video makes sense. At the center of the system is the AN/MPQ 6.5 radar, a phased array set that can detect, track, and prioritize multiple threats at once, including ballistic missiles, aircraft, and cruise missiles, without physically rotating to find them. It can hold dozens of tracks in its field of view simultaneously, distinguish real threats from clutter and decoys, hand off targeting data to the launchers, and reprioritize mid-engagement if a higher value threat suddenly appears on the screen. That radar feeds the launcher, and the launcher fires the PAC-3 MSE, a hit-to-kill interceptor guided all the way to impact, rather than lobbed in a target's general direction and hoping for a near miss to do the job. A single Patriot launcher carries 16 PAC-3 MSE interceptors, loaded and ready to fire in sequence the moment the radar calls for a shot. Behind that one launcher sits a full battery, radar, command post, generators, and multiple launchers, all working together as one integrated engagement system, coordinated by operators who decide what gets shot and what gets ignored in the seconds available to make that call. Fielding that entire battery represents an investment of around $1.1 billion, a figure that covers decades of guidance, software, radar engineering, and the kind of layered testing required before any interceptor is ever trusted to defend an airbase, a fleet, or a population center from an actual incoming missile. None of that capability is in question. The radar finds the target. The interceptor hits the target. Patriot does exactly the job it was designed to do. Intercept after intercept, test after test, against exactly the kind of high-value threat it was built to stop. Ballistic missiles, fast jets, cruise missiles arriving at speed and altitude that nothing cheap could realistically counter. But a battery is not priced the way it fights. The $1.1 billion figure is paid once, at the start, to stand the entire system up. What happens after that is paid one missile at a time, every single time the radar finds something worth shooting at, regardless of what that target actually costs to build. That distinction matters more than it sounds like it should. A capital expense and a recurring expense behave completely differently in a sustained fight. One is a number a planner signs off on a single time. The other is a number that keeps accumulating for as long as the radar keeps finding targets, and it does not care how the battery itself was priced. That second number, the one nobody puts on the brochure, is where this video actually begins. Here is the number that never makes it onto a spec sheet. A PAC-3 MSE interceptor costs around $4.1 to $4.2 million to build. Part of that price comes from what the missile has to do: carry its own active radar seeker, its own divert and attitude control thrusters, and enough onboard guidance hardware to steer itself into a direct hit on something moving fast and changing course at the last second. Every one of those components is precision-built, individually tested, and certified before it is ever loaded onto a launcher, which is exactly the kind of engineering that drives the price up so far above anything resembling a mass-produced weapon. The loitering munition it is being used to shoot down does not need any of that sophistication to be effective. A weapon like the Shahed 136 design can cost as little as $20,000, maybe up to $50,000 on the high end, depending on the source and the variant. It does not need precision guidance all the way to impact. It just needs to survive long enough to reach a target area, and it is built cheap enough, with simple components and a basic airframe, that losing dozens of them in a single wave changes nothing about whether the next wave gets built next week. Here is what the arithmetic actually says. Run that math, and the cost-exchange ratio comes out to roughly 1 to 210, one multi-million-dollar interceptor for the price of more than 200 mass-produced drones. Defense planners have a name for this kind of imbalance, a cost-exchange ratio, the relationship between what it costs to stop a weapon and what it costs to build it in the first place. The more lopsided that ratio gets, the less it matters how accurate the expensive side actually is, because accuracy was never the variable under threat. That is not a failure of accuracy. Patriot still hits what it aims at, shot for shot. This is a cost exchange problem, not an engineering one. The price of defending successfully has stopped being connected to the price of the thing being defended against, and no amount of radar precision changes that relationship. If every successful intercept costs more than 200 times the value of the target it destroys, how long can that kind of defense actually stay affordable, no matter how well it performs technically? Every time the radar locks on, every time the launcher fires, the equation gets a little more expensive for the side holding the $4 million missile, and a little cheaper for the side that only needs the drone to fly long enough to draw a shot. A single Patriot launcher carries 16 PAC-3 MSE interceptors. That number does not matter much against one target. It starts to matter enormously once the threat stops arriving one at a time. Picture a hypothetical scenario here, not a confirmed engagement. 100 drones inbound in a single coordinated wave. At roughly $4.1 to $4.2 million per interceptor, intercepting all 100 could run past $400 million in missiles alone. That figure does not even account for how many separate launchers it takes just to physically hold that many rounds, 16 at a time, or how many of those launchers need to be reloaded mid-engagement instead of firing continuously through the entire wave without a pause to restock. Reloading is not as simple as swapping a magazine. Each launch canister has to be physically removed and replaced, usually with a crane, by a crew working against the clock while the radar is still tracking incoming threats overhead and the command post is deciding what gets engaged next. Refilling the supply behind that crew is its own separate problem entirely. Every PAC-3 MSE has to be built, guided, and certified before it ever reaches a launcher. On a production line designed around precision rather than volume, where speeding up output is never as simple as adding another shift to the schedule. This is where capability becomes a sustainment burden. The burden of that math does not stay inside the missile. It moves onto the soldiers, reloading launch canisters under time pressure, working through a process that was built for periodic resupply, not for keeping pace with a sustained drone wave arriving faster than the crew can restock. It also moves onto the production line at facilities like Lockheed Martin, trying to build PAC-3 MSE interceptors at a pace that was never designed to match a drone assembly line built around cheap, repeatable components instead of precision-guided ones that require months of testing before delivery. If one launcher holds 16 rounds and the incoming wave brings more shooters than that, the question stops being whether Patriot can hit its targets. It becomes how many loaded launch cells are still standing by the time the wave is over, and how fast new interceptors can realistically be built to refill them before the next wave arrives at the same battery. This is the part of the equation that does not show up in a single engagement. It shows up in the days and weeks after, when the launcher needs 16 rounds again and the production line is still working through the order from the last wave. A magazine is not just a number painted on a launcher. It is a clock. And right now, The side building the drones controls how fast that clock runs out. The fix being discussed for this problem is rarely build a more accurate missile. Patriot's accuracy was never the issue, and no version of this video argues that it was. The fix is cost per shot. Lower the price of stopping a drone, and the equation stops draining the side holding the expensive system, no matter how many drones show up in the next wave or how long the campaign runs. That is part of why directed energy weapons, smaller and cheaper interceptors, and gun-based or electronic counter-drone systems keep showing up in the same conversation as Patriot. None of them are framed as a replacement for what Patriot does against high-value threats like ballistic missiles and aircraft. They are framed as an answer to what Patriot costs every time it is used against a low-value one instead. The logic behind that approach is sometimes described as a layered defense. Keep the multi-million-dollar interceptor in reserve for the threats that actually require that level of precision, and hand the cheap, slow, mass-produced drones to a cheaper layer built specifically for that job. That way, the expensive system never has to enter a cost exchange fight. It was never designed to win in the first place, and the radar can stay focused on the handful of targets that genuinely justify a multi-million-dollar response instead of spending that response on something built for $20,000. A precision production line like Lockheed Martin's can build accuracy at scale. It cannot build that accuracy at drone assembly speed, and increasingly, it does not need to, if the answer to a $20,000 drone does not have to cost $4 million to stop. The reversal here is not about replacing the missile or proving Patriot obsolete. It is about not sending the missile every single time a cheap target shows up on the radar screen. The real constraint in this story was never whether the system could hit the target. It was always what hitting the target was going to cost, and which side could afford to keep paying that price the longest without running out of missiles, money, or both before the other side ran out of drones. That is a harder problem to solve than building a better missile, because it is not really a technical problem at all. It is a procurement problem, a production problem, and a budget problem wearing the shape of a radar screen. None of this means Patriot fails. It means Patriot is being asked to win a kind of fight that its price tag was never built for in the first place, against a threat category that did not exist in any serious way when the system was designed. A cost exchange ratio of roughly 1 to 210 does not break on the first intercept or the 10th. It breaks on the one nobody budgeted for, the wave that is larger than a single launcher, longer than a production run, and consistently cheaper than the interceptor sent to stop it. The system does not fail technically when that happens. It fails financially, one accurate shot at a time, until the budget behind it is the thing running out, not the radar or the guidance package. Air defense does not fail the moment it misses a target. It fails the moment winning starts, costing more than losing would have. And that kind of failure does not show up on a radar screen in real time. It shows up months later, in a budget line, long after the engagement itself is over, and the launcher has already been reloaded and forgotten. The question for Patriot, and for every air defense system built around the same logic of precision over volume, is not whether the United States can intercept the next drone. It is how many times that same expensive equation can repeat, intercept after intercept, before the bill finally arrives. That bill does not arrive with a warning siren. It arrives quietly, in a line item, long after the radar has gone back to standby, and the launcher has already been reloaded for whatever comes next. That is the equation behind the missile. If you want more of the math, the headlines skip, follow the mission here on Navy Decoded, and